Hi friends, welcome to English Study Point. Today in this video lecture, I am going to talk about Harriet Beecher Stowe's biography along with her important works. Harriet Beecher Stowe was an American abolitionist and author. It means she belongs from family of abolitionists. Stowe was born on June 14 in the year 1811 in a place called Litchfield, Connecticut, to a prominent family of educators and religious leaders. Her father, Layman Beecher, was a well known minister, and her mother, Roxana Foote Beecher, was a strong advocate for women's education. So, her mother strongly supports women's education. In this year, 1832, at the age of 21, Stowe moved to Cincinnati. In this place, she witnessed the horrors of slavery firsthand. She saw fugitive slaves seeking freedom across the Ohio River. Her experiences of horrors of slavery combined with her strong Christian beliefs shaped her views on the institution of slavery and fueled her passion for writing. At the age of 40, she published her first novel called Uncle Tom's Cabin in the year 1852. Subtitle is Life Among the Lowly. This novel brought her widespread fame and notoriety. The novel tells the story of several enslaved African Americans, including Uncle Tom and Eliza Harris, who escapes with her son across the frozen Ohio River. So this man, Uncle Tom, is a kind of stoic person, means a person who endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining to others. So such kind of man he is, and he during his lifetime endured various forms of abuse and mistreatment. It gained popularity, means this novel gained popularity, and over 3 lakh copies were sold within its first year of publication. So you can assess how much popularity this particular novel got when it was published for the first time. Let's discuss summary of Uncle Tom's Cabin. There is a character whose name is Arthur Shelby, and this particular man is in lot of debts. ये बहुत ज़्यादा कर्जे में था. So he possesses a quality that he is very much kind and affectionate to his slaves. But due to his debts, he is forced or compelled to sell 2 slaves to Helly. Helly is a slave trader, and names of these 2 slaves are Uncle Tom and Harry. Harry is a son of Mrs. Shelby's maid, whose name is Eliza Harris. So these slaves, 2 slaves, are to be sold by Arthur. Wife of Arthur Shelby is Emily Shelby. Emily Shelby is so much shocked because she has promised Eliza that Arthur Shelby would not sell her son. Then what happens is that Eliza Harris overhears conversation between Arthur and Emily Shelby, and Eliza then decides to warn Uncle Tom and his wife Aunt Chloe. After Eliza warns Uncle Tom and his wife Aunt Chloe, then she takes away Harry and flees to the north, hoping to find freedom with her husband George Harris, who is residing in Canada. Eliza Harris is helped by the slave hunter whose name is Tom Locker. This particular man is Helly, who is a slave trader. When Eliza is running out in order to free herself from slave traders, in the meantime, this particular man whose name is Helly, he comes and decides to capture her again, but what happens is she miraculously escapes by crossing the Ohio River, which is a boundary separating Kentucky from the north. Eliza and Harry reach a Quaker settlement where they are reunited with George Harris. Then Hallie puts Uncle Tom on a boat on the Mississippi to be taken to the slave market. On the boat, this particular man, whose name is Uncle Tom, he befriends an angelic little white girl whose name is Eva and saves her from drowning. Eva's father, Augustine St. Clair, gratefully agrees to buy Tom from Hallie, who is a slave trader. At this particular place called St. Clair Household, which is situated in New Orleans, this particular man, whose name is Tom, he grows invaluable and shares with Eva a devout Christianity. In New Orleans, St. Clair's cousin, whose name is Ophelia, she opposes slavery as an institution but is deeply prejudiced against blacks. Then, this particular man, whose name is St. Clair, who feels no hostility against blacks but tolerates slavery because he feels powerless to change it. Here, St. Clair buys Topsy, who is a young black girl who was abused by her past master, and arranges for Ophelia to begin educating her. 2 years after Tom came to New Orleans, Eva falls ill and dies. Touched by Eva's death, Ophelia resolves to love the slaves, Topsy learns to trust and feel attached to others, and St. Clair decides to set Tom free. A man whose name is St. Clair, he is stabbed to death while trying to settle a contention. After St. Clair's death, his wife sells Uncle Tom to a cruel plantation owner whose name is Simon Legree. When Tom is sold to this man, he is taken to rural Louisiana with a group of new slaves, Emmeline, who is a sex slave who would replace Legree's previous sex slave, Cassie, who has been separated from her daughter by slavery. These three persons, George, Eliza, Harry, they at last cross over into Canada from Lake Eyre and obtain their freedom. Here at this point, we come to notice that Uncle Tom, this particular character, suffers greatly and gets renewed spiritual strength because of two visions, one of Christ and one of Eva. As encouraged by Tom, Casey, this particular character, escapes with Emmeline, both pretending to be ghosts. In the meanwhile, Simon Legree beats Tom to such extremes that he dies, and George Shelby arrives too late with the money to buy Tom's freedom. At this point, we come to know that George Shelby's father, whose name is Arthur Shelby, had died by then. These two characters, Emmeline and Casey, they travel to a place, Canada, where Casey realizes that Eliza is her long lost daughter. The newly reunited family travels to France and decides to move to Liberia, the African nation created for former American slaves. At last, we come to know that this particular character, whose name is George Shelby, who is actually son of a farmer whose name is Arthur Shelby, he sets all the slaves free in honor of Uncle Tom's memory. He urges them to lead a pious Christian life just as Tom did. So, this novel provided an emotional and gripping portrayal of the harsh reality of slavery and its impact on African American families. This work also raised awareness of the cruelty and inhumanity of slavery and strengthened the resolve of abolitionists and rallied public opinion against the institution of slavery. Stowe, along with publishing Uncle Tom's Cabin, published numerous other works addressing political and social issues of the time, and those works are titled as Dread semicolon A Tale of the Great Dismal Swim, published in the year 1856, another work titled as The Minister's Wooing, published in the year 1859. Then last work published by her is The Pearl of Orr's Island, published in the year 1862. Then with this video lecture ends here. Hope this video lecture will help you in your UGC NET English Literature exams. Thank you.